And I'm Luis Lopez.
Today we have a special segment. We will be recapping this now through 70s era.
That's right. Tonight we're going to go to recap all the memorable events that happened in the Groovy 70s.
To get us rolling with this recap, we will start at the beginning of the 70s. This American family has had 3 hit singles, all #1 on Billboard Top 100. They have also made dolls and even a cartoon. Next, we will go to Julietta from Marla's group.
Thank you, and we are talking about the group Jackson 5. The superstar group consists of the brothers Sigmund, Torrenio, Jermaine, Marlon, and Michael Jackson. They were originally called the Ripples and Waves plus Michael, then the Jackson Brothers, and finally, as we know them today, the Jackson 5. The 3 #1 singles include ABC, The Love You Saved, and I'll Be There. Although the Jackson 5 craze had died down, you have to admit they took the world by storm. Now back to Liz and Jessica.
Thank you, Julietta. Next on the list, we have an unfortunate event that occurred at Kent State University.
The shooting at Kent State University took place on May 4th, 1970, when unarmed college students were protesting against the bombing of Cambodia by U.S. military forces. 28 members of the Ohio National Guard shot and killed 4 students while wounding 9 others. The shooting divided the Americans' public opinion on the Vietnam War even more.
Our prayers are with the victims and their families. Our next event focuses on Walt Disney World. Disney World was opened October 1st, 1971, with adult general admission being $3.50 and children's being $1. Walt Disney was unfortunately never able to see his dreams come true because he died in 1966. The next clip we are going to show shows how his ideas and dreams have made children and their families very happy.
Oh my god, what is that?
It's a Disney World castle. It just opened today.
It's so ginormous.
Do you want to go?
Yes, I want to go.
Alright, let's go. Yeah, sure, go.
Yeah.
It's just $1 anyways.
That was moving. Another thing that is also moving is the women's rights movement that has been going on for decades. Now we move to Jalissa at the scene of the protest.
The women behind me are protesting for the Equal Rights Amendment to be ratified. The ERA was first introduced in 1923 and has now passed Congress. However, it has failed to be ratified into the Constitution by 3 states. The ERA focused on women equality and how under the law women should not be denied or left out in the United States on sex of account. Can I get someone from the crowd? How do you feel about the ERA being rejected by Congress?
Well, this isn't the first time it's been rejected, and it will definitely not be the last. We just hope that at least someday women and others will finally get equal rights here in America.
What do you hope to gain from these protests?
We hope to gain support from the American public and to support us in our fight for equal rights for everyone.
Thank you. This is all for now at the women protest. Now let's go back to Jessica.
Well, it seems that protesters have not lost their spirit. Next, we will go to Noemi to discuss a movie that started from the bottom and is now here as one of the most popular family and children's movies today.
Yes, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory ranked in 53rd place as the highest grossing film of the year in the United States. It is a fantasy comedy and a musical. It was first released on June 31st, 1971, and has become popular due to repeated television broadcasts and home video sales. The movie is about a boy who originates from a poor family but wins a golden ticket that gives him access to Willy Wonka's magical factory along with other children. What happened next? You can see for yourself by renting a movie at a video rental shop near you. Now back to Jessica Louise.
I want to focus on the SALT treaties. SALT stands for Strategic Arms Limitation Talks. These talks led to the first time the U.S. and the Soviet Unions worked together and limited the number of arms that each country had. President Nixon and Soviet General Leonid Brezhnev signed the anti-ballistic missile treaty and SALT treaties on May 26, 1972 in Moscow. These treaties were the beginning of the end of the Cold War.
Yes, they were. Now into sports. This isn't your regular news feature on men's sports, but on women's. We go to Jalissa for the development of a Little League Baseball for women.
It all started in 1972 when the National Little League organization threatened to revoke the charter of a team in New York because they had admitted a 12-year-old Maria Peep to play. The National Organization for Women took on the case and won, allowing Peep and other girls to be able to try out for the league. A year later, on November 7, 1963, Sylvia Pressler, a hearing examiner for the New Jersey Civil Rights Division, ruled that girls can be admitted into the program for the Little League Baseball. The decision has not won everyone in the general public, but as you can tell, there is an open field for women. Now back to you, Jessica.
Thank you, Jalissa. You seem to move fast. Alright, next we go to Noemi to focus on the very first African American model to be featured on a big magazine. Noemi, what do you have?
Beverly Johnson did not know she was going to be the first African American model to be on Vogue magazine when she first started her modeling career. But before that, who was she? Before her modeling career, she was first interested in swimming and nearly made it into the U.S. national team with a 100-yard freestyle for the 1968 Summer Olympics in Mexico City, Mexico. After graduating high school, she went to college with a full scholarship and studied criminal justice to become a lawyer. It was her friends who encouraged her to start modeling at the time she got the photo shoot that would change her life. She was on Glamour first before going to Vogue, and then on the French magazine Elle. She has definitely made a career out of what she thought was just going to be a one-time thing. You, Louis and Jessica.
After the Watergate scandal, Gerald Ford came into power. This is someone that the country would have never thought to be president one day.
Gerald Ford was the first person to not be elected to presidency. He rose to the position after former President Nixon was proven to have tampered with evidence that was critical to the Watergate scandal investigation. One of the first things he did was becoming president was to pardon Nixon. This did not help his popularity, and the decision led to controversy against him. Throughout his presidency, there was a domestic energy crisis, high inflation, and weakened economy. The fall of South Vietnam to Communist North Vietnam was also seen as one of Ford's failures. One of his more positive accomplishments was signing the Helsinki Accords, which reduced tensions with the Soviet Union. Overall, he constantly reassured the country that the government can be trusted and the nightmare was over. Now back to you, Jessica.
Another person to mention is George Wallace. He was nicknamed the Fighting Little Judge and served 4 terms as the governor of Alabama. He is known for being a strong supporter of racial segregation, and his efforts to improve the economy, healthcare, employment, and infrastructure were considered successful.
Next, we go to Juliet, who will tell us about HBO, a company that has become successful since it has started in 1972.
Home box office, or HBO, first started out with movies and sporting events, which would be the base of their business throughout the decade. In 1973, HBO got bought by Time Life and became the fastest growing pay service in the United States. Rival cables like Showtime started to appear after HBO became the first national American network to deliver its programming by satellite in 1975. However, HBO seems to be a company that will be successful for so many years. Now back to Jessica and Louise.
Our next topic will be about our environment and what we can do to make it different. We will go to Kristen for this.
That's right, the environmentalism movement has continued throughout the 70s as scientists have studied that the amount of pollution is having a negative impact on the planet. Former President Nixon signed the National Environmental Policy Act and created an Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, to help protect the environment. Perhaps the most important act is the Clean Air Act. The Clean Air Act established emission standards that require the maximum degree of reduction in emissions of hazardous air pollutants. The Clean Air Act has prevented more than 400,000 premature deaths and millions of cases of respiratory and cardiovascular disease. As you can see behind me, environmentalism has become more important for people. This is all I have for the environmentalism. Now back to Louise and Jessica.
What a great start to taking care of our planet. Our next story is the situation the American hostages are in. A group of students who supported Ayatollah smashed the gates and scaled the walls of the American embassy in Tehran, taking people hostage. There were originally 66 hostages, but 13 were released recently on November 20th. The country is still waiting for President Carter to get the remaining 52 hostages out safely. From what we know, none of them are seriously injured.
Ask yourself, well, why Gloria Julieta for the events that have led to the crisis.
Between Iran and the United States because of conflict of oil. British and American corporations have controlled a large part of Iran's oil reserves ever since their discovery in Iran. That changed when Iran's new elected Prime Minister, Mohammed, announced a plan to nationalize Iran's oil industry. The American CIA and British intelligence service secretly planned to overthrow Mohammed and replace him with someone who would be more open to Western interests. The operation was called TP Ajax and was successful. A new government was installed in August 1953. The new Prime Minister was Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi. In exchange for foreign aid worth millions of dollars, Shah returned 80% of Iran's oil reserves to the United States and Britain. Iranians started to resent America for interfering with their country's affairs, and that resentment grew as Shah turned out to be a brutal dictator who used Savak, a secret police agency, to torture and murder thousands of people. The resentment continued to increase as the Iranian government spent billions on American-made weapons while the economy was weakening. Iranians wanted to protest, and so joined the Ayatollah Khomeini. Recently in July, revolutionaries forced Shah to demobilize his government and flee to Egypt. As a result, the Ayatollah installed a militant Islamist government in place. Later in October, President Carter allowed Shah to enter the U.S. and get treatment for advanced malignant lymphoma. This increased the anti-American sentiment in Iran. And just a month later, students who support Ayatollah held 66 Americans hostages. Although 13 have now been released and uninjured, there is no way of telling how this will end. Now back to Jessica and Luis.
We hope that everyone has returned safely home. Now, on to the next topic. Fashion. Bell bottoms. The fashion style of the decade.
Thank you, Luis. Bell bottoms were pants typically flared from the knee down with the bottom leg opening up to 26 inches. They are made from denim, bright cotton, and satin polyester. Sonny and Shure helped popularize them by showcasing the pants on TV. They became an outlandish and colorful style of the decade. Now back to you, Jessica.
Now I want a black pair. The unfortunate event became Elvis Presley, and his death is up next. We will show the live video of paramedics attempting to keep him alive.
He's not waking up. Why aren't you waking up? Be alive. Be alive. Be alive. No, wake up. Come on. Wake up. Be alive.
Oh my God, the king is dead! He's dead!
Holy shock. He looks familiar too. Our ending segment will feature the most popular kind of music, disco. But before we go, we're going to say goodbye to the 70s and hello to the 80s.
This was Jessica Holtz,
And Luis Lopez.
and this was the Groovy 70s Newscast. Stay tuned.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place, singing, we